Yes, okay. So we are going to continue in English. Yeah. Okay. So welcome to a game progress demonstration thingy. This time we really don't have many people here, and I think only 2 teams are going to talk. So let's begin with something awesome instead. Global Game Jam is coming at the end of January, and it's going to be like biggest event so far we have made. And I don't know what else can we talk. Schedule. So schedule is almost done pretty much. Now, Global Game Jam is a little bit different from Ludum Dares we usually do, mainly because at the beginning of the event we are getting topic announcement, and from ideas you will get what the fuck? No. And teams are going to be formed around the ideas themselves. So that's kind of interestingly different. And Global Game Jam itself will end in Sunday evening instead of Monday. And we also have Sunday. And Raul, how do I spell it?
Sunday.
Yeah, but
Sunday.
Okay, anyway, yeah, ice cream from breakfast and whatnot. But maybe let's start with game presentations. Brutus, ready?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Zoomi sisse äkki nüüd ajad
Mida?
Zoomi selliks sisse, et see ajakava oleks suunanud.
Ja
päist ei ole mingi näha.
Ei ole.
Okei, las ta on.
Hello everyone. So Hackswitch is still the greatest game ever made. Ever being made currently. Last time I showed you the actual gameplay. This time, if we're lucky, we can also see some gameplay. But now I'm going to show you some concept art and some ideas that we're planning to implement in the game. So first of all, we plan to make some sort of end bosses or some characters or some bigger monsters that are in the either in the end of the game or at the end of some sequence of levels. Maybe for every 5 levels there is this more difficult kind of end level. And here is some of the concepts. For example, some sort of robot. One idea. A little creepier version with some eyes and stuff. It's not exactly certain yet if it's like just the background element. One idea is that maybe some of the elements that the boss has are like the platforms, and the player can jump like on the platforms that are moving constantly, and maybe not like we don't intend to create like a whole new mechanic just for the boss level, but just use the same mechanics just make it a little bit more difficult and visually different also by using the boss characters. The concept of a level is a background piece, but also it's like it's turning, and the character is like jumping on the outside wall of the like a cylinder basically. One idea. Yeah. And some new features we intend to implement. This is maybe not. But one idea is that if the boss character like moves the platforms around, then you have to reach this button, and like if the player reaches this button, then the like boss explodes, and you can fight the boss in this way. Also another feature is this acceleration tube. It's basically like a force field that carries the player along. So you can jump into the force field and it will carry you, and also jump off it. So maybe you can like during the floating in the force field, maybe there are some obstacles, and then the player can jump over the like out of the acceleration tube and maybe back into the zone. And another idea related to the accelerator tube is that maybe there is in certain places there is this switch, so the player can change the direction of the tube. So basically, if it's by default, maybe it's like goes always to the right, then the player can reach some sort of switch and switch the direction, and then get to some another place, for example. And it's glowing, so it's good. Another visual and a storytelling element is this screen. So basically we need a way to tell the story of the game. There actually is a story now, but we don't want to do like some sort of voiceover or cutscenes or anything like that, because the story isn't that important, but still it's probably useful to have some sort of story or reason why the player is playing the game or the character. So the plan is to put these screens in the levels, and there will be some sort of text, not a lot of text, but something to just to refer what's going on in the game world. And these screens will be maybe placed in the start of the level, because when the tube comes out from the ground, then there's a little bit time when the player can't really move, and maybe during that time, when there's a little bit downtime, it's a suitable time for display some text so the player can read and get to know the story, maybe. So yeah, screen with some text basically. Also currently start and end models are the same. There's this tube that deploys the character, and also in the end the character goes into the tube and then the tube goes away. But the new idea is that there's this scanner in the end that scans the character, and the character then is being destroyed. So also this idea is more in line with the story, so that like only the data, the actual character doesn't go from one level to the next, but it's destroyed, and only the scanned data is transferred to the next level. And it's also involved in the story, so it's probably more suitable. Yeah, and some sort of visual elements currently, like for the deployment capsular tube. There isn't any model in the in the other space if I can show it. Hopefully the stream also shows it, but currently this tube doesn't have any visual reference in the backspace, so it's like not there. It's soon to be there, but also the end element, the scanner, should soon be displayed like this. And it's a little bit different in the rail space and the backspace. So yeah, the concept of the switch that switches the direction of the like the force field, and also this is the concept of how it should look like in the end. Currently it's something like this, and in the end it should look something like this. Maybe not exactly like this, but something. Yeah, the latest thing we did, we imported background elements that are a little bit broken, but at least they're in. I think I mentioned it the last time, but we also changed the jumping mechanics. So before you could only jump once in this world and twice in here, but now it's like it's like a two-time booster in this space, and you don't have to hold down the jumping button to jump in this space. It's like a normal jump in every other game, but in this space you have to like boost twice. And also the end model is this one. So yeah, basically that's our future plans and ideas, what we want to do with the game. Any questions, ideas, suggestions? Yes.
Okay, you had like a lot of boss ideas, but who is going to implement them? Because bosses are like really complicated things to do.
Yeah, that's exactly why we don't want to change the mechanics that much. It's just platforms. It's still platforms, but just in the case of the boss, they are a little like moving around, and that's about it. The major change is the visual side, but the mechanics is basically the same. We also intend to put in some moving platforms also in the other levels, so it shouldn't be that difficult to make it turn it into a boss level, hopefully. So the major change is just the visual and maybe like a story or something, hopefully. Yes.
I have a question about the walking. Is this one single sound effect being played, or there are several?
Currently it's just the one, but it's being
No,
If-
come on, I saw like
if
3
you-
levels in
yeah.
start.
Okay, maybe I turn it off, but you can actually just use the one sound effect, but change the pitch and the amplitude a little bit, so it seems like it's many different sounds, but it's actually the one. Yeah. And also like for this, it should change a little bit, but yeah, like the sound is probably the least worked on part currently. We actually have a guy who is, hopefully soon, is dealing with the sound, but yeah, there's very little sound basically currently. But we still have the awesome music. Only because we changed the jumping mechanics, you really can't reach the platform, so you just die. But
Does the lift have an inside texture?
inside texture,
Yeah, why is it like turned sideways?
it actually doesn't have any textures. It's just solid color kind of. It's all glowing though, so it's cool.
Okay, one question from YouTube. Do you have a timeline when will you finish something?
Well, you know, you can't really when you do art, you can't really rush it. So it's quality before quantity. I like to say. So hopefully, sometime we shall finish it. Yes.
So lisaks
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Well, if you have made it like over a year already.
Yeah, soon it is like 2 years.
Yeah, basically it's 2 years.
After this game jam is 2 years.
Yeah.
Was it global game jam game or not?
It was the one with the interview.
Interview?
Yeah, some dude made some interview with the participants. Ants gave the interview for the thing. Yeah, maybe it was Global Games, I can't really remember.
Oh, yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's
Okay, but if you get into game phase, are you going to like make some kind of timeline or goes to finish something by that time?
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah, we planned to go to the game days, so hopefully that will probably motivate us a little bit to make some new levels and implement at least 2 of the new features we want to add. Because yeah, currently it's pretty much broken because of the change we made. So that's the motivation, I guess. Well, I hope we don't have to make it. We don't have to work on it another year. I hope at least in the summer we can finish it because.
Come on, make it end this game.
Yeah, we never finish it. It's just infinite amount of work.
Yeah,
That seems great. Yes.
But come on, for a product, players get levels like every month or so.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe we can release it in early access and get infinite amount of money that way. I guess that's also a plan.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for wasting your time with me. Next one.
Works game.
Kind of. So, I am back and I finally found some time to work on my favorite project, PortQuest. And while working on it, I discovered that I have learned a lot after half a year break. And current quest system was just garbage. It's complicated and awful thing. So I started to prototype something, and through that I got an idea to make a game based off that quest system that I can implement later into PortQuest, maybe in a couple of years or so. So it is like 1 week of prototyping or so. It took 1 week of like thinking out what am I going to do and how. And I think main thing I wanted to do is to implement a lot of events in easy and I mean like couple of 100 events I can easily change and edit and add. So currently in my Unity project I have like one Excel file, and if I change a line in it or add a line, I will get a new event, and after I place one of these it will pull out a random event with text and different button text, and what way will I change. But this part is kind of broken, kind of. I mean, display is correct, but I think I messed up now, how to say, how it calculates the numbers. I think I have some kind of error. And also I saw one problem. I need to figure out how to balance easily 200 events. Maybe some kind of bot or something. I don't know. Do you have maybe an idea?
To balance events.
Yeah, because okay, let's make one session. So
What do you mean, like
okay,
to have like a small outcome, like small positive outcome and negative positive?
well,
and
currently,
you want to change them all at the same time.
okay, let's say that I have 200 events and I have like 3 outcomes from it.
Yeah.
But I want to be sure, because events are coming kind of random, but some are gated behind some things, and I need to be sure that all events are firing and that all the endings are possible. Because let's say I have one play session, and in one play session player can see maximum of 45 events. And because overall pool is 200, that means that player can play like maybe 10 times, and maybe they have seen all the events. But I need some kind of thing to know that everything works as intended.
When you need unit tests, that's the
Yeah.
safe way.
I don't know what these are, so I need to research.
Unity has built-in unit tests. Like there's even a window when it starts.
Really?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, and then you can
Okay,
say that I have this value and this value, and then you write an assertion that after executing your like yes or yes method, you get the desired outcome.
This is fascinating. Okay, that's some good info. But okay, currently I have like 13 events right now.
If you mentioned like event balancing before,
Yes.
so to quickly have a lot of events with same outcome, and like because you have a small reward and you want the small reward to change like from one chicken leg to 2 chicken legs, then you can just make a scriptable object in Unity and call it this the reward, and then you can
this Excel file, it
then
is
you can quickly change.
this Excel file is pasted into a scriptable object where I will pull the data. So I'm already using scriptable object to hold all the data about the events.
Okay, well, yeah, it's just one way of doing it. You reference that one object by a lot of things. You can have a central place to change the rewards quickly.
But yeah, I think it needs more work. But yeah, if I have enough time, I will try to make something playable and simple by end of this month. And text that make kind of sense. But what is kind of strange and interesting, because there are a lot of random events, and if they happen kind of in sequence randomly, it seems like story is progressing, so it kind of generates story. So that's kind of odd, because like you saw, I meant before that I had like some tooth problem, and now Tooth Fairy Mafia showed up. So yeah.
So the events completely random, or are there some reference?
Okay.
If you have this tooth event, to have some priority for assigned fairy after.
Well, currently I have like 8 totally random events. No, we are put into activated pool, and when one of these choices are activated in correct event, it will pull out new event and adds to activated pool. So, but yeah, that's a strange thing I was working on. Needs maybe some artwork, more text.
You will do the artwork.
Kind of. Not really, come on, I can't draw. But yeah, any questions? No.
When it will be ready?
Yeah, I will try to make something really playable by end of this month.
Okay, but artwork?
No, I mean, this game doesn't need much artwork. Maybe like 3 icons, and that's all. So yeah, this is going to be a really simple game. So yeah, that's
So
all.
how obvious are the choices? Like, is there a way to deduce like what's the better option? And
Yeah,
like,
I'm trying to write this event so that you have to think about solution. And currently I have only 2 characters, but I was thinking like making 3 characters, and I will make like character banner, so every character reacts to some things in certain way, and from that I will write up things. So when player plays, he has to see the character, think about how this character usually reacts, and maybe they can get needed reward. So we need to like follow a story and know the characters. But you know, you can also like choose a funnest option, what makes sense for you. Yes. So yeah, but yeah, balancing some work and whatnot. But if there are no questions, Reimo? From YouTube.
Are you going to add, is the UI going to stay like that, like for the buttons? Or have you thought about like a more orcish UI? Or?
Maybe. I mean, because I'm using Unity, I really should like use UI animation tools, because we have like really simple. Because currently it is pretty much, set active, set false, and after this text finishes, set active again. So yeah, why not? Wow, okay, that was forced. So yeah. But John,
Yeah.
you are next.
Yeah.
Hello. Hope you guys have a good start of the year. So, one of my I will use this. So one of my ideas for this year that have started is not create or document any new game ideas. So I finally get to start with something and finish something. But the problem is that every time I stumble into something, then I decide to, oh, this would be an awesome game, and so it never really takes place. So in the following time, I have been doing a set of experiments, mock-ups, mostly just whatever I feel like it would be nice to do in order to get more skills into doing more awesome effects for doing game development. So there is some stuff that I've been doing. Some of them will become games, some of them probably will not. But I've been doing like pixel art for retro kind of platforms, like really retro, like for kind of EGA kind of games. I was trying to participate in the White Pixel game jam, so I came up with some characters there, trying to use very retro palettes, and been trying to incorporate all this pixel art into some sort of sprites, animations that go well. So right now I'm just trying to go with the aesthetics and try to make try to get my animations, my sprites, and my own style to create game content that it looks like understandable. So I even started working here on the game idea, and I started to, before I got to this more advanced caveman that is still very retro. I started trying to get how do you think in 16 colors? How do you shade this thing in order to make it look right? So this was like the progress, and it ended up like crap. This doesn't look like a caveman at all. Looks more like, I don't know.
Jesus.
Yes. Well, like a tiger Jesus, I don't know, some kind of mutant, but it looks pretty badass, but it doesn't look like that. So I say, no, the hell with this. I'm going to make my own version, but I ended up doing this. But I still wanted to play with the idea of retro style. So I went to a forum and asked people about it. How can I shade this better? Look some information on the internet, and I ended up getting something right, like trying to think like the old, like in the old times, and was happy with the result. Been doing more pixel art. This is not more the game like thing, but it's game development related. But it's just like sometimes this is the problem, that I get some idea and I just go with it and get lost. I tried some advanced option that Game Maker 2 has, that allows you to edit sprites live, and it's really good for creating flames. It might have so it can let you play with the fluids and stuff like that. So you can create pretty fast, awesome flame animations with this. I participated I did a collaboration with some student in the university for the computer graphics course. He had to make a game. It's like a pinball game related. I don't know what it is, but I can show you some sprites of how the game looked like at the end. So I did the sprites, I did the artwork. I didn't have to put in no single line of code there, which is cool. Like you make the art and somebody makes the game. I didn't charge him obviously, but I get he had a good grade at the end. So yeah. Basically, the problem has been the same, that I get carried away, my code is not that good, and I never finish things. So. But sometimes I do finish, I do these weird animations. But yeah, coming up, what I've been doing recently more, this is just like looking back on what I have been done in the past months. It's been all between pixel art and stuff, more pixel art, more tributes to old movies. Sadly, Facebook really destroys the resolution. I need to find out a clever way to upload videos to Facebook without making them look like crap.
Maybe if but it's anyway like couple of games make it as a GIF, and I think it
Ah.
displays GIFs maybe better. And
Yeah.
Maybe there's some special plugin for it, like for 3D, there is a special plugin.
But yeah, it also destroys some GIFs. I had like one GIF with really cool glow,
Uh-huh.
and Facebook destroyed.
Okay.
No.
Um,
No.
So basically the idea is that I'm getting skills in retro games because it's only me doing the games right now. So I need to keep it as simple as I can. So pixel art and retro kind of style suits me well because I can work on it whenever I have time, and it can turn out to be like a doable arcade games out of it. There is some I'm trying to reshade the Mosquito game. I don't know if so. I'm trying to give Jan a better look. For those that don't know about this game, something. It's oh, here it is. Where is it? The game is still work in progress. I have a page here, so there is some information there. So I'm really into this kind of retro style. Brings back the memories. So like the idea is to beat up mutant mosquitoes in Tallinn in the old times, and yeah. The game is more to appeal to some sort of black humor retro thing that I am really fond with. But yeah, I use different techniques there. Like I try to use like rotoscoping from myself, giving a kick, and like they did Prince of Persia, but it turns out to be too much work. So I think it's not feasible. But I will see how it looks like. I was trying to change the character to something like this, but probably I will just keep it simple, stay with this. It's just.
Oh yeah, previous version looks better. It's more defined.
Yeah, the moment I try to add light or to something that doesn't originally supposed to have light, then I guess that's where the problem starts. So yeah, then I tried to work on a game idea for some friend. This is already like a video inside Game Maker. They have more stuff going in, just some walking animation, trying to do sprites for the game idea, then I tried some advanced animations with using what the Game Maker does with the live edition of sprites, and just put the asset into a random loop and then just make it turn around, trying to tell a story. The idea is that this thing has to kill kill bugs in code, and this is the stuff that came out of conversations, having a coffee. And we just make jokes about our backend, and then these things came up. And I thought, maybe I can make a game about it. Then everybody gets all hyped up, but I never finished anything. And then I realized that I want to make this game cool, but I think I need shaders. I need to learn about shaders. I decided that I needed shaders in my life for some reason to make better and cooler effects. So I started doing something. Like and I took the example of a torch, of a simple torch, and I wanted to make it believable. It started out like this, then it turned out to be like this, and then something like this. But still, learning about shaders in such a short notice is really difficult. I didn't realize that it was such a difficult thing to grasp. You need to understand math like a lot in order to get something going on. So far my torch looks like this. There's still room for improvement. It kind of looks okay, but it breaks up the whole pixel art kind of style. So, but just for learning about shaders, I think it's already work in progress. So it's I'm learning a lot during these things. I just trying to build up more skills and keep experimenting and just having fun along with it. I mean, I have no rush or pressure to finish all these things, but I really like the process of learning. So and then I went directly. I said the shader thing is really a complicated and awesome thing. So I separated myself and off GameMaker and started doing shaders by my own and experimenting. Came up with really interesting shading effects. For some reason, I thought like, hey, maybe this could be an awesome background for a star space kind of theme. But then I let it go for a while, and I said, okay, let's try to make the previous game with, make a filter for the screen. And I use shaders for that, make something simple. So I'm basically, for each pixel, I'm just modifying the alpha. And it looks, I mean, it's amazing how much effort that will it take to make something look like crap in an algorithmic kind of way. So yeah, sometimes even if you want to screw up something, you will not do it if you put your mind to it. But here, I'm trying to make this look like it was made in the 80s or something. But still, this is what I managed to do with the with the shaders at that moment. So I said like, no, I want something more sophisticated, like like old VCR kind of stuff. And after much try out, I made my effort that before the year ends, I was going to make that work. So I found something about chromatic aberration, and now I'm using a filter. So for chromatic distortion, and it looks kind of different. It looks like something you look from a VCR or something. So okay, I mean, I learned a lot of about shaders and UV mapping, and I don't know, and a lot of these concepts there, and it kind of looks different in a way.
Very, very different.
Yes, it's kind of. I don't know if it looks better or worse, but
It looks like an acid trip.
like what?
Acid trip. On LSD you see something like that.
Exactly. That's where I was totally aiming for that. and then I went. I made my idea that for 2008 I will explore more. 2018 I will explore more. And then I decided like, hey, why not take this and make some kind of animation that has procedurally generated content. So, and I decided to use the previous this thing that I did the year before, that hey, this could look awesome for a star, like a background for a space or something. Oh, is there sound? This is supposed to. Huh. I think I made a music here. Probably this doesn't have sound, but in a video there is something here. So I incorporated using shaders the background that I showed you before, but I just inverted the colors, and it looks like a procedurally generated sky. It looks like very noisy in the background, but I think what I like a lot is like these objects moving. They look like comets or something. And there is a really a lot of difference when you're using shaders. It's like things run much faster, and you don't feel the impact on the machine, like nothing at all. And I just use some square sine waves to generate the idea that the guy is walking. So, and then I just decided to apply the chromatic effect to this, and and I added some music in the background, but it's too So I thought like if maybe. So I thought if maybe I add some elements there and a better music, it can be like a small arcade game. But the idea is to procedurally generate all this stuff, like to make the game like an infinite side scroller. But yeah, so I'm gonna focus this year on just pick one of two of these ideas and actually execute them and finish something by the beginning of April. So and yeah, and then don't create any more problems, don't create any more game projects. So the cool idea about this is just to make animations, but then I was trying to make, I said to myself, like, I want to make a field to reproduce a lightning effect using dithering to create like some retro lightning. I really failed with that. I was trying to make that happen, but instead of making a correct dithering, I ended up doing another animation that incorporated music and I ended up synchronizing shaders and music and visuals. So you see, this is what happens. I have a focus, I want to do something, I ended up doing something else. So I took this music from SoundCloud and what I am doing here is just getting the Fourier FFT, what is the name? Oh, I'm getting the data from the music live, and I am just parsing the information from the highs and lows, and affecting each pixel in the screen, and synchronizing that with the music and the animation and the time, and some fractal patterns that I have found playing with shaders, and created this. I don't know what the hell it is, but it kind of looks just cool to watch, and it's always changing. It starts at some point and it changes with time. You will see that all the shapes in the background will morph into something different. So hopefully I will get my stuff together.
Where's the blue color? Where's the blue color?
Yeah, I was also asking myself that question. It was for some reason it got lost, but it's part of the equation that I put there, that it's blocking the blue channel, but it's kind of being merged somewhere down here.
It's white, so it's red.
The cool, at least it's not the kind of lights that will cause an epileptic attack. So they yeah.
We have any epileptics?
Say what? Okay.
We will find out.
We will find out if somebody starts twitching. That we have a winner there. So yeah, this is the page. I just spam my own page with the stuff that I do, so to keep track of what I'm doing and where I'm going, and yeah, for sure, whenever there is something done, it will be published here. So that's all that I have. That's what I wanted to share, and let's see if this first part of the year will get the Mosquito game up, at least. So yeah, at least I will make a promise that by April the Mosquito game will be ready. I don't know about the other things that I have here, but yeah, that's it.
You can do pixel art, some adventure, like a comic book style.
Yeah, the idea with this alien here is like it has a story that he's just an alien in Tartu and he has to somehow get back to his spaceship. So it's kind of like a retro kind of pixel art thing. where is it? I know this is old stuff, but yeah. So he has to endure all this. He has to endure the weather. You know, trying to communicate with the locals. He has to overcome an addiction to kama. There is a lot of things that to play with. To play with very local kind of jokes, internal jokes. So yeah. So yeah, the idea of this guy exists just for making an adventure game in Tartu, but still there is some of the ideas was that he has to collect bottles and then he has to fight the king of the Pirogov for control of the region. So he gets involved into a gang fight and stuff like that. So yeah. Oh, there is something that I'm missing. That I started using this caveman actually is part of another idea that I had, is to procedurally generate caves. So I used some of fractal generator that I had before, and I used it to create a labyrinth. Actually, it looks like a huge labyrinth all the way. So it's like the idea is that I create some effect of darkness, and for example, and let the players explore inside the cave. So this is just like a zoom out, and just to get an idea of the dimension of this is like a really big thing. So it can be cool. The idea is to add some light, like he has a torch and he has to explore and avoid that. So there will be a restricted viewport here, so he doesn't know what's coming next. So he might try to jump, or and he has to explore and get minerals. The deeper that he goes, then the more minerals he can get. That then he had to fight some stuff down there. I still haven't figured out. This is actually a remake of Ook, that it was like Ludum Dare 36. So you can see the progress.
Yes, we see.
There has been some improvements since then. So it looks less flat at least. But actually the original idea still kind of looks cool for some reason. Yeah, but I was trying to. So yeah, that's the cool thing about exploring, but you need to stop at some point. I even made this was the original first level. Looks like shit, but then I added some title sets. I tried to improve the colors in the background, and it starts looking a little bit better. But I didn't like this actually, so I improve it and make it up like this now. So it looks a little bit better, and the mountains doesn't convince me still, but
They are.
they are mountains. You can understand that they are mountains there. What else happens with this? Oh yeah, this is the tile set that I use. So that's how I made them. And the rocks here, and I also use that asset here for the level generator.
Maybe those background tiles maybe a bit more darker. Or the chart maybe a bit lighter. It melts like to the rocks or something. It's too dark. It's very hard to difference. Make a difference.
Okay.
Foreground and background.
Maybe like make another tile at least.
Oh yeah.
Currently it looks
Lighter-
like a grid.
Lighter stones are good, but the darker ones must be a bit darker.
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid, trying to fix this because, like you said, it looks like a grid here.
Just need more texture, more tiles.
So, yes,
Uh-huh.
darker or the different color maybe, and then the
Or maybe some kind of outline for the character.
An outline. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have seen that they used like they outline the character so you can understand where the character begins and ends. Yeah, that could be an option. But I'm not sure about the position of the tile, so I'm not sure how to fix that part. because I generated this by code. I didn't place it by hand, so I'm not sure about the grid part. Maybe I still have to make sure that all the tiles they fit up together, or it will end up being in something. Hey, what is this? But yes, I will take that suggestion. Yeah, I made a tribute for Halloween, and I almost said to myself, "Oh, this can be an awesome game," but no, I stopped myself there.
It's a very nice looking picture. It's a good beginning.
Yes, it's a good beginning. It could be the intro. I like to make fun of myself, saying that this pixel art is the intros for all the games that I will never make. But hopefully, I will try to change that.
You can change the number there to 8.
Yes, I can reuse this art, and then this year, nobody will notice. What else? I don't know. I asked my Russian friend, how do you say female dog in Russian, and she told me that it was like this.
Yes.
But
When did you move here?
there was this tribute out for Laika, the dog, and let's just make this. So because I said it in Spanish, this is perra cósmica, but how do you say it in Russian? No? Suka. I believe him. What else do I have to show? No, not else. Oh yes, since I was frustrated that I didn't get enough sound effects or music, I bought myself a synthesizer, and I'm failing. Trying to make music with it, but I think I managed to do something with this. Let's see. Oh fuck. Okay, it's gone. There was something here, but yeah, I'm just trying to try my best to get music. Maybe just an idea of what I want, and maybe somebody that knows more can help me and help with that. Now this is just the past, and yeah. Oh yeah, this is part of the adventure game. Actually, there is a really nice picture about this. I think it's somewhere around here. Hey, there is supposed to be more pictures here. Not sure what the hell they are. Albums, timeline. Maybe in the timelines. Let me check. Because I used to have no, not here. Not sure where they are. No, can't find it. Okay, but yeah, that's it. You have any questions? No. I guess no.
It's a good idea. I approve. Finish things.
Yes, finish things.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'd like to say that don't forget to register.
Oh yeah, games and registration.
Yeah.
I just checked that we have like 25 people and we have like 75 spots, so yeah, so it is. Okay, wait, what was that?